Shad what he's teaching his own kids, because he's an immigrant and his kids are the same age as mine.
When I'm thinking about my kids and what we're going to do in the future, I think about this idea of being more of a polymath, right? Like if you think about, even before the Industrial Revolution, the people that are most memorable, like Leonardo da Vinci, for example, did a lot of things. Was an engineer, was an artist, was all sorts of things, right? And the kind of elite education used to be about understanding a lot of things, about spending a lot of time learning about everything. And I think this is where the education needs to be headed, where the Industrial Revolution created a world where humans are treated like machines. If you think about corporations or factories are one big machine, and every individual person kind of doing the assembly of one thing is a part. And I think it was very dehumanizing. And I think we're going to go back to a moment of time where there's a lot more opportunities for entrepreneurship. Even when you join a company, you're going to be judged by how much of a real business impact you're going to have, as opposed to how task-oriented you are.
The new AI age wants you to be what researchers call a human epoch. Someone who brings the 5 abilities AI still can't replicate: empathy, presence, opinion or ethics, creativity, and hope/leadership. And these aren't soft skills anymore. Let me give you a simple example. 2 people can both use ChatGPT to write a report, but only one of them can walk into a meeting and read the room, understand why a client is nervous, understand what could be a hesitation, reframe the problem when the model's answer isn't enough, make a judgment call when the data conflicts, inspire the team to move forward. That combination, human psychology plus AI fluency, is what companies are paying a premium for. And then there is something most people still underestimate: personal brand.
Personal brand is going to matter even more, a lot more, because personal brands get 20 times the cut through as business brands when you're trying to get attention, but it's going to be nearly impossible to build a personal brand. Imagine a scenario where there's an airport and there are planes that are on the ground and there are planes that are already up in the air, and the fog comes rolling in. And the air traffic control says, if you're already on the ground, it's too foggy, you can't take off, but if you're up in the air, you can keep flying. That's what's going to happen to personal brands. So new personal brands are going to be harder and harder to get through the fog. Existing personal brands will be already up in the air. I think there's probably 2 to 3 years where you've still got time to build a personal brand. I think one of the greatest assets anyone can build right now is a dedicated following of 2 to 20,000 people who know who you are. They get you. It doesn't have to be millions. If there's 2 to 20,000 people out there on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, on your YouTube channel, whatever it is, they feel like they've met you or know you, they've got a parasocial relationship to you. If you've got 2 to 20,000 people out there who have that parasocial relationship with you, that is going to be one heck of an asset to have.
In a world where AI can generate infinite content, people follow people. Your edge is a mix of AI fluency, you know how to use tools better than 90% of your peers, polymath skills, you can connect dots across fields and ship real things, personal brand. None of that requires permission from a recruiter, but it does require something old-fashioned: learning. And no, we're not all about retiring at 30, but how we work is changing fast. Instagram co-founder Mike Krieger described it perfectly when he talked about Claude and AI agents. What do you think is going to happen in 2 or 3 years? How are we going to progress and advance?
I think part of it, and I was having this conversation this morning even with some of our researchers, the progression or the dynamic that I see is if last year, maybe the beginning of this year, these models, and I'll use Claude as the example, were really kind of assistants that were helping you with maybe a question at a time or maybe a task, right? This year they're moving more into collaborators where, especially if you watch somebody use Claude Code, for example, they're actually delegating what would have taken them maybe 20, 30 minutes, and Claude's going off and doing it. And then you're checking in and you're more on the sort of validating or verifying work, right? Going into next year, you're going to delegate even bigger chunks of time, or even like pieces of the job out to that. So it's not just, I have this very specific thing, please go do it. And it could be more sort of think of it, Claude, as something that's in the loop of your business. So hey Claude, watch for any new user feedback and maybe propose a change based on that. You can imagine evolving that. Don't just propose a change, write the code to make the change and I'll check if it's a good idea or not. And then the next step there is Claude actually being an entire sort of coworker where it has a discipline. So not just a project that happens to be a good thought partner for product management, but an actual product manager in your company.
This for me is the blueprint of AI-proof careers. You work with models that see patterns better than any human ever could, and you bring the things that absolutely can't. Judgment, taste, ethics, lived experience, emotional support. In other words, you become the translator between messy human reality and superhuman AI systems. With all these tools, it's natural to ask, do we even need formal education? As Perplexity's CEO, Aravind, could still do a PhD today. And what he'd tell an 18-year-old starting from scratch.
The fundamental thing you learn in a PhD is learning to learn. Like I did a lot of research in my PhD, which doesn't matter today, but I got the ability to like go learn a new topic, dig deep, understand everything, gather my information, consult like what was the best expert, which by the way is not needed anymore because there are tools like Perplexity, subject expertise to go make decisions and like, branch out. That is what you acquire, that skill. Zoom out and think beyond materialistic goals. Like just foundationally as a person, you become a lot more grounded in like the willingness to seek truth, the relentless questioning, the Socratic method of learning, and learning to learn. And I feel like these three qualities are like a reflect of this proverb or phrase, right? Like give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. It's like that's how I feel about PhD.
So no, you do not need a PhD to succeed in AI, but you do need the thing a good education was always supposed to give you: the ability to learn fast, the ability to ask better questions, to go deep when everyone else is just skimming. AI makes it easier than ever to access knowledge. It does not replace your responsibility to actually use it. So let's put this all together. Yes, entry-level jobs are disappearing. Yes, simple, repeatable work is becoming less valuable, even if it's intellectual. The people actually building this future keep saying the same thing. This is both the hardest and the best time to build your career. If you want to be on the winning side of this shift, here's a simple plan you can start this month. Something real, something doable. Step number 1, learn to work with AI, not around it. Write down the tasks you repeat every week: reports, research, emails, content, and keep iterating. Don't stop there. Build AI workflows for them using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. Keep trying those new tools. Your goal is to cut the time in half for just 3 to 5 tasks in the next 30 days and put it into your CV or LinkedIn. Reduced X tasks by 50% using AI workflows. That's a language hiring managers understand. Step number 2, go deep in one area, then expand. Pick a field and commit to 1 full year of uncomfortable depth. Courses, side projects, real work you can show. After that, add an adjacent skill: a marketer who codes, a doctor who understands AI, a designer who knows data. That's how you go from task doer to someone who actually moves the business. And then step number 3, build a small but real personal brand. We've hired some people recently, and most of them came because my COO followed them on LinkedIn. She liked their way of thinking, she liked their experience, she reached out on LinkedIn. We were not chasing people with million followers, just a couple thousand people who know what you're good at. Post once or twice a week about what you're learning, building, and improving. Share experiments, share case studies and numbers. Document the journey instead of waiting to feel ready. So to wrap this up, the future work isn't humans versus AI. It's humans plus AI. And the gap between those who adapt and those who don't is getting wider every month. If you want me to break down specific AI workflows for your job or industry, tell me what you do in the comments. I might make a whole video around it. And if this helped you feel a little less apocalypse and a little more, okay, I actually have a plan, hit the like button so that more people can see this video. Your career is not over. It's just in beta. And you're the one shipping the next version. Thank you so much, and I'll see you very soon on this channel. Bye.